Money in the Bank goes down this Saturday, and today I'm going to rank all 6 participants in the men's ladder match from least likely to most likely to win it. First up, coming in at number 6, Andrade. Andrade's in this match for a couple spots, but there's no chance he's winning. WWE has not done much with Andrade over the past year. He had the best of 7 with Carmelo. Other than that, they have just struggled to really find footing with him in stories on television. It just hasn't worked. He is just here to be the moment maker, and that's fine. That's a good spot for Andrade. I'm just glad he's on the card. I'm glad he's in the match, but there is no chance he can win this. Andrade is somebody that is tailor-made for the briefcase if booked correctly, especially if he turns heel. Andrade as a heel could be the absolute perfect person to hold the briefcase. Right now, he's kind of a face. He's kind of just floating around. There's not much happening with him. There's absolutely no way he's going to win the Money in the Bank. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Maybe next year things can change. If they start to invest in Andrade on television, but he has just been struggling. And I mean struggling every week to get something going. It seems as if they're not booking him against Carmelo Hayes. They have no idea what to do with him. So we'll see where he goes following the Money in the Bank ladder match, but he has no chance of winning this. Number 5, Solo Sikoa. Now this one's interesting because I do think there's a few directions we could go if Solo wins. If Solo wins, we could always go the route of him cashing in on the United States Championship, which I hate that idea. I hate the briefcase being cashed in on a mid-card title when Austin Theory did it and failed. That's one of the worst cash-ins of all time. In my opinion, it is the worst cash-in. At least everyone else that has failed has went after a world championship. Solo going after the United States Championship would actually change my mind just because of the dynamic between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa over the last few months. That would be a perfect way to get that split and to fully turn Jacob face. Because that's coming. Jacob's going to be a face soon. He is going to disband from this current version of this bloodline and go off and do his own thing. Solo could get that done. Now, on the other side of things, Solo's brother is the World Heavyweight Champion. That story writes itself. He could cash in on Jay anytime, and that story would be there. I do think Solo's starting to climb into being a full main event player. He's been in some main event slots. He's challenged for titles on PLEs. He main evented SummerSlam last year. He's slowly cementing himself as that guy. And I do think the briefcase is something that could work with him, especially with this new version of the Bloodline backing him and having the faction behind him. That cash-in, the threat of the cash-in, could be entertaining television. Whether he went after even the WWE Championship, whether it is the World Championship, and then maybe it's they swerve us with the United States Championship. That would be the only exception to where I think the mid-card title would make sense. If that is going to lead to Jacob Fatu versus Solo. Again, that wouldn't be my top choice, but I do think that is a choice they could go. And I would be okay with that if the story is there. Now, with that being said, I do expect Solo to lose this match some way, somehow, with the help of the Bloodline. I think they're going to come out to try to help him win, and Jacob Fatu is going to cost him accidentally to lead to more drama between Solo and Jacob over the next few weeks of television. I don't think Solo's walking out with the briefcase, but if he does, I'm not even going to be upset about it. I would let this play out and see where this takes us. Number 4, Penta. The only reason I have Penta over Solo is just because Penta kind of doesn't have much going on. And sometimes it's a shot in the arm for these guys that don't have much going on, that are floating in the mid-card. I know it might be too early, it might be too soon. He's got a long way to go on WWE television. Sure, I hear that. But I do think sometimes it's the shot in the arm WWE looks for. I think the walk that Penta does with the briefcase in hand would be tremendous. The Zero Miedo on the briefcase, it would market itself. You would sell those things right off the shelves. So I do think that we could do some cool stuff there. And Penta, I mean, he's not a spring chicken. Now is kind of the time if we want to make him into be a main event player. And he could easily be a world champion. I think he could win the World Heavyweight Championship later down the year if they fully wanted to tell the story and get Penta there. I think it could work. Penta could work as a face. He could work as a heel. He's already getting over as a face mega on WWE television quicker than most people probably thought it was going to happen. So if they did decide to go the route of Penta, I wouldn't have an issue. Coming in at number 3, LA Knight. Originally, this was my pick to win, but now I just don't think it's going to happen. It's unfortunate because I think LA Knight is one of the few people in this match that could go after the WWE Championship. He could go after the World Heavyweight Championship. Both would make sense. He could win the title on either brand, either show, and carry it. That would make sense. LA Knight, this is 3 years in a row in the Money in the Bank ladder match. People were calling for him to win it 2 years ago. They were calling last year. And people are calling this year. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're willing to put the rocket on LA Knight. I don't think they're going to let him get to the main event level, at least yet. They'd planted the seeds for LA Knight and Aleister Black to feud following Money in the Bank, and I kind of think that's the direction we're going to go. That's where LA Knight's hands will be full, is with Aleister Black, and I don't really think we're going to get him winning the briefcase. Although, if they did put it on LA Knight, I think he's the one guy in this match that when he cashed in, it would be the mega moment. It would be the moment that the Money in the Bank was built on. Aleister Black, LA Knight, that's a good feud. But they can have that feud even if LA Knight carries the briefcase. Obviously, sometimes guys carry the briefcase for 6, 7, 8 months. They have storylines and feuds along the way. That isn't just focused around the World Championship. So we could get there. LA Knight with Aleister Black is going to be awesome. Regardless, we've seen LA Knight's ability when he was feuding with Bray Wyatt. With the Pitch Dark match, he fit in perfectly into that story with a character like Bray Wyatt. I'm sure he'll do the same with Aleister Black. Briefcase in hand or not, it could work. Personally, I would like to see LA Knight get it. I don't think LA Knight should stay in the mid-card. I do think LA Knight should be elevated to the main card picture. He should be a world champion, competing for the world championship. And I do think him being the one to cash in on John Cena and then John Cena's world championship reign, that could make sense. To take the WWE title off of Cena and bring it back to the WWE, putting it on a babyface like LA Knight would make all the sense in the world to me. But for whatever reason, WWE just does not want to get behind LA Knight. They do not want to put him as a world champion. Whether it's SmackDown, whether it's Raw, the WWE title, the World Championship, it just seems like it's not going to happen for him. It just seems like they have the idea of him in the mid-card, and that's kind of where he's going to stay put, which is unfortunate. He's been breaking down glass ceilings, but they just don't want to commit to him. So be it. I hope to be wrong on Saturday night. I hope LA Knight walks out as Mr. Money in the Bank because I think he is perfect for the briefcase. He is perfect to cash in. And I just think the story would be there better than anybody else in this match. Coming in at number 2. Probably most people's opinion on who's going to win. Seth Rollins. He's got the new group. He's established. He's the guy that has already held the briefcase in this match. He has one of the best cash-ins of all time. You could argue it is the number 1 cash-in of all time. And I do think they want to put Seth back in the world title picture, but he just doesn't need the briefcase. This is where Roman Reigns returns. Roman Reigns is going to come and push Seth off the ladder. That's honestly what I think. I think he's going to get there. It's going to look like he has his moment after Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker beat up everyone else in the match, but I think Roman Reigns is going to make the save for everybody else in the match, and I don't think Seth is walking out. I truly don't think Seth is walking out as Mr. Money in the Bank. He's too established. This would be a waste of the briefcase. Seth doesn't need it. He can get himself into the title picture anytime he wants, just based off what he does. Now he has Paul Heyman by his side. Paul Heyman can pull strings. The briefcase just makes no sense here. Just absolutely no sense. Although we do have the tag team match going down the same night. Both world champions are being represented in the same match, where John Cena's on one side, Jey Uso's on the other side. That would set up the perfect time for somebody like Seth Rollins to cash in, do a same night cash in, but I don't want to see a same night cash in. 2 nights later, Jey Uso's defending against Gunther. Everyone's mind immediately went to that's where we're going to see a cash in. And if that is when we're going to see a cash in, the number 1 person you would point to is Seth Rollins. He's the only guy that in 5 days from now was world champion. You wouldn't think anything about it. You would say, yep, that makes sense. So that's why I do think most people are doing it, but I think that's all smoke screens. I don't think Seth's going to win. I truly think Roman Reigns is going to cost him. Maybe it's CM Punk. But I think one of those two, maybe a combination of those two, they align to cost Seth Rollins. But I don't think he's walking out as Mr. Money in the Bank. I certainly hope not. Coming in at number 1, El Grande Americano. I know it seems crazy, but I truly think he's going to walk out as Mr. Money in the Bank. I truly think that's what's going to happen. I think the story between Chad Gable and El Grande Americano being told over several months with the briefcase floating around, whether it's found in Chad Gable's locker room or whatever it is, having to tell that story, Chad Gable seeing the world champion is vulnerable, and he wants to expose that he has the briefcase, but he can't. I think that's going to be tremendous television. I think over the course of 6 months, if we have multiple instances where Chad Gable wants to cash in, but he doesn't want to expose himself. He doesn't want to reveal he's the one with the briefcase. He doesn't want to show that he is El Grande Americano. I think that'll be good television. And in the end, if Chad Gable walks out as a world heavyweight champion because of this El Grande Americano thing, then so be it. I have no issues with that. If that's the end goal, is to get him as the world champion, maybe somewhere along the way he gets unmasked and it is shown that it's Chad Gable and he actually is the one that cashed in instead of El Grande Americano, so be it. I'm down for the journey no matter what. As long as Chad Gable walks out world champion at some point, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to be the one up in arms that Chad Gable was El Grande Americano for a few months if it gets him to the world title picture. Now the question is, why did it take Chad Gable to cosplay as a luchador in order for Triple H to push him as a singles competitor? He's as good as anybody in the ring. He's as good as anybody on the mic. He creates moment after moment. He's hilarious. He's knocked everything out of the park. I don't think El Grande Americano was needed to get Chad Gable to the next level, but here we are. That's the circumstances he was dealt. That's the hand he has, and he's making the most out of it. Let's not punish somebody like Chad Gable. He has gotten everything over. He has tremendous matches. He wrestles even great as El Grande Americano. It will be interesting to see El Grande Americano have the briefcase and try to cash in, and everyone is trying to expose Chad Gable. I think over the course of a few months, that could be some of the best television that the Money in the Bank briefcase has ever seen. Guys, let me know in the comments. Am I right? Am I wrong? Who do you have winning the men's Money in the Bank ladder match?